Ever since Anthony Volpe got called up in 2023, the Yankees have given him every single opportunity to make the most on his potential. But with this latest news, are the Yankees starting to grow tired of the Anthony Volpe experiment? What's going on, guys? King of Under 61st Gen. I'm back to the video, and let's rewind back to when the Yankees called up Anthony Volpe. It was the off-season going into the 2023 season, and Aaron Boone calls Anthony Volpe into his office and tells him there is still development that needs to be had, but the development should happen at the major league level. And from there on in, the Yankees have made it their #1 priority to try and develop Anthony Volpe into the player he was supposed to become. He was a top 10 prospect in all of Major League Baseball, was supposed to turn into one of the best shortstops in Major League Baseball. But with this latest news that the Yankees are trying Ryan McMahon at shortstop to see if he'll become a viable backup option, should be concerning if you are Anthony Volpe or someone who believes in Anthony Volpe. One thing I brought up in my Jason Dominguez video was that Anthony Volpe in his entire Major League career, coming up on year 4, has not had an OPS above 700. He has been in the 600s his entire career, something Jason Dominguez did in his first season. Now, mind you, early on in Anthony Volpe's career, there were some people saying you can live with some of the early adjustment periods offensively, because defensively, Anthony Volpe was so polished that he would at least make for a serviceable shortstop until he can develop into his offensive prowess. Going into 2025, coming off of the postseason series that Anthony Volpe had on that World Series run, there was a lot of hype coming in. People thinking he was finally going to hit that stride. I was one of those people. That postseason run, he hit over 300, stopped trying to go for launch angles, still had a great bat speed, but he was able to just put the ball in play. He was able to get on base, and it allowed for the Yankees to score runs. And when the Yankees score runs, they win games. That's the point of baseball. Then 2025 comes, and early on you see the torpedo bats, and he's hitting home runs left and right. You thought, oh wow, he found something, and everything fell off a cliff. Now, mind you, he's had this before. His offensive profile has never worked out through the summer months, but this time it was different. Now he couldn't defend for shit. Now he was struggling to throw the ball. 2025 seemed to me that there was a bit of a regression from Anthony Volpe. Now, mind you, there was the shoulder issue, the reason why Anthony Volpe is going to be out for the first month of the season, and we'll get back to that in a second. But it seems like the Yankees took notice of that regression in 2025. Trying to play Ryan McMahon at shortstop for a viable backup option is very interesting because, like I said earlier, Anthony Volpe is going to miss the first month of the season with that shoulder that he is recovering from. So who's starting at shortstop at that point? It's Jose Caballero. If Jose Caballero has a good month, let's say hits above 270, plays solid defense, and is able to give a solid force at the bottom of the lineup, help serve the top end, and help us win games. If that happens, Anthony Volpe's job is in jeopardy. And with the fact that the Yankees are saying to themselves, we need Ryan McMahon to try out at shortstop to be a viable backup, this whole experiment could drop Anthony Volpe down to shortstop 3 in this organization. Now, my brain is telling me this could be a long time coming. Anthony Volpe looked like he wasn't developing much from 2023 to 2024, except for that postseason run. And then in 2025, to have that regression, something's not right there. You can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. But the other side of my brain is telling me that shoulder injury might have been affecting him more than we know. Because one thing that Anthony Volpe has always been good at is he's always said the right things in the media. He always takes accountability. He'll always never throw anyone under the bus. He is very media trained. So when he talked about his shoulder injury, it was in a lot of terms of, yes, it was a problem, but there's no excuses for how I played. Taking that accountability, being very media trained. But I think in a lot of ways, he wants to tell you this shoulder injury was a big problem. Because one thing that hurt Anthony Volpe in 2025 was his range. For some reason, he couldn't get to the balls he was getting to in 24. He couldn't get the amount of balls he was getting to in 23. And a lot of that had to do with his reach. And that's all in that shoulder. And apparently there was a quote saying he's dealt with a version of this for his entire life. Now he's finally got that fixed. So it's interesting to me because when Anthony Volpe is right in his major league career, he has a 3-WAR season in 24. And that was without offense. He still had a 600 OPS, but that defense was so valuable to this team that he was able to rack up 3 FWAR. If that defense comes back and that shoulder could help him offensively, just unlock something. Get to at least that 700 mark. Get to that 100 WRC plus. Get to the point where you are serviceable offensively and supply the defense you had in 24 or in 23. Anthony Volpe becomes maybe a top 15 shortstop in baseball. To add that to your lineup, to add another serviceable bat to the lineup, add that speed to the lineup to where when he gets on base at that point, he's a threat to go. That's how you manufacture runs. And what the Yankees need right now are guys who can manufacture runs. They have the power. Jazz, Judge, Stanton, and Rice. They have the power in that lineup. They need guys to be on base when these guys hit bombs. So that side of me says, give Anthony Volpe one more chance to prove what he's made of when fully healthy. Just wanted to make this quick video because this news came as a shock to me. The Yankees have always treated Volpe with kid gloves, right? They don't bench him when he's hitting 060 over like a 20-game span. They'll always defend him in every single way. So to hear that they are trying Ryan McMahon at short while also having Volpe not be on the roster through the first month, it's just interesting to me because it seems like Brian Cashman is losing patience. It seems like Aaron Boone is losing patience. I'm not saying they're wrong, but I also don't know if they're right. So let me know down below what you think about this. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. We'll have more WBC content out later this week. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that video. But until next time, I'm out of here. Take care and peace.